All right, I'm Peter Doddema. I'm the priest here at the Church of the Ascension in Frankfort. Today I want to talk just a little bit about Easter. What is that service and what happens here at our church? Because we celebrate Easter a little differently than some churches. So Easter is the most ancient Christian festival that there is. Jesus rose from the dead. That started Easter, and early Christians realized if Jesus hadn't risen from the dead, we wouldn't be here. So that was what kicked things off. It's been celebrated for almost 2,000 years, but we find it written up in Christian services and in letters that they sent to one another about 18 or 1900 years ago. So by that point it was already going strong, and people were writing about it saying, yeah, I went to their church and I had Easter and it was amazing, that sort of thing. So it's an ancient tradition, and celebrating that once a year is exciting for a lot of reasons, one of which is because we're doing the stuff that people have done before us for 2,000 years. It's delightful to realize that you're not alone, but that you're surrounded by this company of people, present and past and yet to come, that have been carrying on this holy tradition. It's a beautiful thing. What is particularly wonderful about Easter is the sense of hope that comes from it. Hope, as it is talked about in Scripture, is knowing that something has already been set down and assured. You're just waiting for it to happen. In our culture today, a lot of times we think of hope as sort of a weak, wishy-washy sort of thing. Well, gosh, I hope things get better. I hope you're not sick very long. I hope I get a promotion at work. I hope. That's how we think of hope. But in Scripture, the word that is used for hope actually means done deal. It means something has already been decided, it's been accomplished, and you are just waiting for the results to happen. And so Easter is about that kind of hope. It's knowing that Jesus rose from the dead, and that we will be raised from the dead as well. It's just waiting for that to happen, rather than having a vague, wishy-washy hope that maybe something good and spiritual will happen to me. Gosh, I hope. Yeah, Christian hope is very different from that, and that's what we're celebrating when we celebrate Easter, that God had a plan for Jesus, and God has a plan for you as well. And the way Easter is celebrated here at the church is on the Saturday before Easter, which this year is April 8th. At 9 p.m. we start with the church all dark. That's just after the sun has gone down. Church is dark, and out in the courtyard outside in our garden space we light a small fire, and we light our candle from that one big main candle, and we carry that into the darkened church. And the symbology there is this idea of Jesus rising from the dead, and Jesus is the light of the world. And so bringing the light into the darkness. And as we carry the light in procession, we're all processing together, there's singing that's going on. There's an extremely ancient hymn called the Exultet, and the deacon sings that as we go in, and it's about rejoicing and celebrating. Jesus has come, the light has returned to the world. Rejoice, rejoice. It's just beautiful. So all of that is going on as we come into the church. And then there's a series of readings. Again, starts at 9 o'clock at night. A series of readings about God's plan for God's people throughout history, looking at Hebrew Scripture, at Christian Scripture, and then we celebrate the resurrection, celebrate Jesus rising to life again. So that's our Easter Vigil service. Again, that begins at 9 o'clock on April 8th. And then, like a lot of churches, we also have an Easter Sunday service. That's at 10:30 on April 9th. Lilies in the church and that sort of thing, just celebrating Jesus' resurrection. So I hope that you'll join us for one or both of those services. They are extremely moving. It's a good way to get back to church, back into the sense of the holy, the sense of the sacred, that just isn't there with so much of our other activities in life. So I encourage you to join us.